Why are you still keeping his pictures everywhere, Mom? It's been 5 years. Move on. That's what my daughter-in-law, Amber, said last month, rolling her eyes as she rearranged the living room shelf where my late husband's photo used to stand like a quiet heartbeat. Her words stayed in the air like smoke, cruel, lingering, impossible to wave away. Hi everyone, my name is Margaret Hayes, I'm 56. And if grief had a smell, mine would still be the cedar of his old office chair, the one I never threw away. How long does love survive when the world insists you bury it? That morning felt ordinary. Coffee, the ticking clock, the gentle hum of computers in my small accounting firm. I was alone reconciling invoices when I noticed a sleek black tablet on the corner of my desk. Amber's. She'd stopped by earlier, laughing on a call, saying she just needed to borrow the printer. She'd left in a rush, perfume trailing behind like arrogance. First I meant to call her. But then the device buzzed, sharp, sudden, alive. I froze. Across the screen appeared a message preview and a photograph. My husband's face. The same gentle eyes, the same tie he wore the day of his funeral photo. Except this time he was smiling into the camera like he'd never died. For a moment the world tilted. My hands trembled as I touched the glass. The sender's name glowed, M. My heart hammered. My husband's name was Michael. It had to be some cruel coincidence, or a private joke. Yet when I unlocked the tablet, the message opened instantly. No passcode. The text beneath the image said, "See you tonight, love." Same room. My breath caught in my throat. I looked around my quiet office, the flicker of fluorescent lights, the calendar still turned to February, and realized the air had changed. Outside the city moved on. Inside time stopped. I stared at the screen until the letters blurred, until the truth started whispering something I didn't want to believe. And then the tablet pinged again, this time with a video thumbnail. Amber's voice laughed inside it. I didn't mean to press play. My finger moved before my brain caught up. The video opened in a dimly lit hotel room. The camera wobbled, then focused on a familiar shape sitting on the edge of a bed. A man, tall, shoulders tense. And when he turned toward the camera, I stopped breathing. It was Michael. Or someone who looked like him. Amber's laughter filled the room. "You still look the same," she said, her voice soft, teasing. "No one would believe you died." He chuckled, that same low sound that once made me feel safe. "You really think this is funny?" he asked. "Only when you say my name like that," she whispered. I shut the tablet, my pulse screaming in my ears. For a moment I thought I was hallucinating. Michael was gone. I had held his cold hand in that hospital bed myself. I had buried him. I forced myself to reopen the screen, needing proof, needing logic. The timestamp on the video said last week. My chair scraped against the tile as I stood. The whole office felt wrong, walls too close, air too thin. I tried to steady my hands, but they wouldn't stop shaking. What kind of cruel thing was this? A deepfake? Some sick scam? Or had Amber staged this? A quiet rage began rising from somewhere I didn't know still existed. I opened her photo gallery. Hundreds of pictures. Vacations, dinners, her holding my grandson. But tucked between them was another album, locked with a single icon, a gold heart. My finger hovered, trembling, then tapped it. The screen asked for Face ID. And before I could think, before I could stop myself, the tablet lit up again. It had recognized his face. Michael's. My heart lurched as the hidden album opened. Inside were dates, videos, messages, all starting 1 year after his funeral. And there, in the middle of it all, was a photo of Amber and him, standing in front of a seaside villa. The caption read, "Forever starts again." I couldn't feel my legs. The world shrank into pixels and silence. There he was, Michael, his arm wrapped around Amber, both of them glowing in the sunlight. He wore the same gold wedding band I buried him with. The same band I'd kissed goodbye before they sealed his coffin. My throat tightened, air caught somewhere between disbelief and fury. The sea behind them looked familiar. Pale turquoise, a stretch of Italian coast we once dreamed of visiting after retirement. A dream I thought had died with him. But there he was, alive, and standing beside my daughter-in-law. My mind spun back to his last words in the hospital. "Promise me you'll take care of them, Maggie." He meant Amber and my son Daniel. Daniel. A rush of nausea hit. My son, Amber's husband, still believed his father was dead. I scrolled further. Each file opened a new wound. Receipts. Hidden documents. bank transfers from accounts under Michael's old business name. And then one photo, a scanned passport with his face but a new name, Michael Dean Hart. A fake identity. My vision blurred. The room tilted. I grabbed the edge of my desk just to stay upright. Had I been grieving a lie for 5 years? Or was he forced into this? No, Amber's smile in those pictures wasn't fear. It was possession. The phone on my desk rang suddenly, loud enough to make me flinch. It was Daniel. "Mom, Amber's freaking out," he said. "She says she left her tablet in your office. Don't touch anything, okay? I'll come by." I stared at the tablet glowing in my hands. "Sure," I whispered. "I'll keep it safe." But inside, something in me had already shifted. Because I wasn't just keeping it safe, I was keeping evidence. I closed the blinds, locked my office door, and whispered into the empty room, "Michael, if you're alive, I'll find you. And when I do, it won't be love that greets you." Outside, thunder rolled across the city like an omen. By the time Daniel arrived, I had wiped my tears and set the tablet back on my desk, screen black as if nothing had happened. He rushed in breathless. "Mom, thank God you didn't open it. Amber's losing her mind. She says it has private business documents." "Business?" I repeated softly, forcing a smile. "I didn't touch a thing." He sighed in relief. "Good." "She's embarrassed. There's a client deal she doesn't want me to see. Just hand it over, please." My fingers brushed the tablet. For a moment I almost gave it to him. Then something inside me hardened. "Actually," I said, keeping my voice calm, "the battery died. I'm charging it in the back. I'll bring it home tonight." Daniel didn't question me. He never did. My son had inherited Michael's trusting nature, and maybe that's why both of them had been so easy to manipulate. After he left, I locked the office door again. I needed help, but not from the police, not yet. The truth had to be proven first. That night, I called someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Detective Linda Carver, the officer who'd handled Michael's death certificate. When she answered, her voice was sharp but kind. "Margaret? My God, it's been ages. How are you?" I hesitated. "Linda, I think my husband is alive." Silence. Then a deep sigh. "What makes you say that?" "I have his photos. His voice. Videos. Recent ones." "Margaret, you know that's a serious claim." "I know. But I also know my husband's laugh. I buried a man, but I think it wasn't him." Linda paused. "Bring me what you have tomorrow." Quietly. After hanging up, I placed the tablet beside Michael's framed photo on my dresser. For a long moment I stared at both. One frozen in the past, one pulsing with the present. Then, almost without thinking, I whispered, "You thought you buried me in grief, Michael. But no. I'm the one digging." Outside, the wind rattled the windows, and somewhere in the dark my phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number. "Stop looking." The message glowed against the dark of my bedroom. "Stop looking." No name. No number. Just that. I stared at it until my pulse steadied enough to think. Whoever sent it knew I had seen something, and they wanted me scared. But grief had already burned that fear out of me years ago. What was left inside me now was colder, sharper. The next morning I wrapped the tablet in an old scarf and drove to meet Detective Carver. The winter sky hung low and gray over the city, the kind of colorless morning that hides secrets well. Linda met me at a quiet cafe near the station. Her hair was streaked with silver now, but her eyes were still the same, sharp as glass. "Show me," she said without small talk. I slid the tablet across the table. When she saw the photo of Michael, her brows knit together. "This can't be," she scrolled, then froze at the video. "That's your husband?" "It was," I said quietly. "Until he decided it wasn't." She leaned back, thinking. If he faked his death, someone helped him. There'd be legal traces, death certificate, insurance payout, maybe a forged ID. I nodded. He had a $250,000 life insurance policy. It went straight to me and half to Daniel's trust. But Amber managed those accounts after the funeral. Linda exhaled slowly. "Then you're sitting on something big, Margaret. Fraud, conspiracy, maybe worse. You'll need to move carefully." My hands tightened around the coffee mug. "What do I do?" "Don't confront her." "Not yet. I'll pull the death records quietly. Meanwhile, act normal. Pretend you haven't seen a thing." That night, I returned home to find Amber waiting in my driveway. Fake smile, folded arms, tablet missing from my bag. I came by to save you the trouble, she said sweetly. Daniel told me you had my tablet. I was just about to call, I lied. Her eyes flicked to my wrist, to the reflection of the screen still faintly glowing in my watch. She smiled wider. Careful, Margaret. Curiosity kills. That night sleep didn't come. Every time I closed my eyes I saw Michael's face on that tablet. Alive, laughing, wearing the ring I'd buried him with. I sat in my living room long past midnight, staring at the family portraits on the wall. The house felt foreign now. Every picture frame, every shadow whispered betrayal. Around 2 a.m. I got up and walked to Michael's old study, the one I'd sealed years ago. His scent still lingered, coffee, leather, and the faint smell of cologne I'd once loved. I opened the bottom drawer of his desk and pulled out the box where I'd stored his old papers. Bank slips, legal documents, an envelope labeled confidential. Inside were copies of his will, medical reports, and one hospital bracelet that didn't match his charted date of death. Different date, different ward. My fingers trembled as I matched it to the funeral report. They didn't align. It was as if someone had swapped identities at the last minute. Then I noticed something else. A receipt from a small private clinic just outside Phoenix, dated 3 months after his death. The name signed at the bottom, Dr. Amber C. Lewis. Amber's maiden name. I felt the air leave my lungs. She hadn't just found him, she'd helped him disappear. The doorbell rang suddenly, shattering the silence. My heart raced. Who would come this late? I peeked through the window. No one. Just a small envelope left on the porch. I picked it up with shaking hands. Inside was a photo, the same seaside villa from Amber's secret album. Except this time Michael wasn't in it. It was just Amber, and my son Daniel. The back of the photo had 3 words, scrawled in messy handwriting. She'll destroy him. I sat on the cold floor, clutching that picture until my knuckles turned white. By dawn one thing was clear. Amber hadn't just stolen my husband. She was going to ruin my son next. And I was done watching silently. By morning I had stopped trembling. The grief that once drowned me had hardened into something steady. Something with purpose. I called Detective Carver again. Linda, I said, you were right. There's fraud and Amber's behind it. Tell me what you found. She's the doctor who signed Michael's fake discharge papers. She helped him vanish, took the insurance money, and now she's after my son's inheritance. Linda's tone dropped. Then we move carefully. I'll need copies, all of it. And Margaret, record everything. That afternoon I set my trap. Amber had a habit of dropping by my office unannounced. So I left a voice memo running on my desk, open but disguised under a pile of papers. When she arrived, she was all charm and perfume. Daniel wants us to have dinner tonight, she said casually. He's thinking of investing in a property abroad. You should come. Family thing. I kept my face neutral. Abroad? Where? Her smile didn't falter. Italy. Beautiful place by the sea. I felt my pulse quicken, the same coastline from the photos. Sounds familiar. She tilted her head. You've seen it. There was the faintest tremor in her voice, almost invisible. I met her eyes and smiled faintly. Maybe in another life. She blinked. Just once. Then forced a laugh. You really should stop dwelling in the past, Margaret. People come back, people go. It's all the same. Her words hung in the air like poison. And that was when she slipped. Her phone buzzed and I caught the screen reflection in my desk glass. The contact name that flashed was M. My stomach turned. She hadn't deleted him. That night I listened to the recording. Every word, every tone. It was enough. Enough to show her guilt. Enough to make anyone believe. I emailed everything to Linda. Then I did something I hadn't done in years. I put on Michael's old wedding band and whispered, "Let's finish what you started." The storm outside rattled the windows as I waited for morning. The day everything would come undone. Morning came pale and quiet, the kind of quiet that comes before everything breaks. Linda met me outside my office at exactly 9 a.m. She looked tired but focused. "We've got what we need," she said, holding a folder tight against her chest. "The fake death certificate, offshore transfers, and the clinic records. Once we show these to the insurance board and your son, she's finished." I nodded, steadying my breath. "And him?" She hesitated. "If he's still alive, we'll find him. But it won't be your burden anymore." By noon, Daniel arrived, confused, holding Amber's hand. He was calm, too calm. "Mom, what's this about?" "Detective Carver said there's an issue with Dad's insurance." I gestured toward the screen on my desk. The video played. Michael and Amber in that seaside room, laughing like ghosts that refused to stay buried. Daniel's face drained of color. "That's Dad." Amber's smile cracked. "It's not what it looks like." "Then explain the passport, the clinic papers, the fake signature," I said quietly. "Explain why my husband's death funded your new villa, Amber." Her mask finally fell. "He loved me. Not you. You were just the cover story." Daniel stepped back as if her words were venom. Linda's voice cut through the tension. "Amber Lewis, you're under investigation for insurance fraud, identity concealment, and falsification of medical records." Amber tried to speak, but the strength had drained from her face. The detective took her by the arm, leading her away as Daniel stood frozen, betrayal settling into him like ash. When the door closed, silence filled the room again. Daniel looked at me with tearful eyes. "Mom, how did you survive all this?" I smiled faintly. "'Cause I had to. Some of us don't get to forget." Later that evening, I sat in Michael's old study once more. The air felt lighter, the grief no longer choking, just still. I placed his wedding band back in the box and whispered, "You tried to erase me, Michael. But I turned your ghost into evidence." Outside, the storm had passed. Inside, I finally exhaled.